Streaming rewrote the economics. Social media rewrote the discovery model. AI is rewriting production as we sit here. I know it. Deal with it. Like I said, it's a tool. Hey, like I said, you can hear me now or you can pay me later. Hey, then do something about it, okay? It's a tool. Make it work for you. The things you learn.
Folks, you see how out of touch the rich people are that stand to benefit from AI? That man was giving a speech, and I don't know why these universities keep inviting these rich ass people, a lot of them who don't have college education, to do their commencement speeches. While I am someone who agrees with the progression of technology, I'm also someone who believes that we need regulated technology so that we don't wind up in the situation we are today with social media being ran by people who want to be fascists and oligarchs like this guy that just gave that speech, laughing at the pain of people suffering and putting folks in place like Trump who are useful tools for the rich. What's going on, everybody? I'm Lamont Tyson. This is the Politics of Being Black. And we've got a lively show going on for you guys today. So let's go ahead and jump on into it and discuss what is going on in the Trump economy.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that full. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
That's right. You're in the building with the all knowing, all loving, all feeling, all seeing, all powerful, all woke, all DEI. Just damn all everything. Sexy as hell host, me, Lamont Tyson, bringing you the Politics of Being Black full show. And what do we do on this channel, folks? We debunk the myths that have been put in place by Mighty Whitey to keep society at bay while they do what rich white dudes have been doing for years. Be robber barons to the federal government that everybody pays into, and then they have the audacity to turn around and tell you not to buy into it. And we debunk these myths put in place by religion that are there to keep you at bay. We debunk how they claim racism doesn't exist. It's a construct, yes, but it's a construct put in place to divide the masses so that we don't attack the people who's really hurting us, which is the 1%. And we do that by showing you predetermined topics of what's going on politically so that you can be informed and understand how these myths have been keeping you from reaching your full potential of what the United States has promised you: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I take super chat questions at the end. If you give a funny enough or interesting enough comment during the video, I will read it. But for the most part, your boy is trying to come up. So super chat and I will read it for sure. Topic number 1, art imitates life. There is a great TV show that Amazon is ending called The Boys. Had its season finale. I'm not going to tell you guys about it. I might do a review video on my movie and TV show channel. Oh, by the way, I do trade stocks in case you want to know. And I took a butt whipping today, ladies and gentlemen. That's my stock channel, Win by Losing in Stocks. And it's named that because every time you lose, you do learn a little something that can help you be better in the future. And you're seeing me while I'm in that cusp of I'm break even, slightly profitable, trying to escalate to that level that you always see people doing these guru talks about how they make $5,000, $10,000 a day. I'm not at that level, but you're seeing me as I'm evolving to that level. So come check me out daily at 9:30. The Boys. I don't know who wrote the show, but they wrote it in a way where it definitely imitates what's going on in the United States. The main character, Homelander, definitely was Donald Trump, thinking and wanting to be, pretending to be a god, crazy. Nobody really likes him, and he had an ego problem, and dude was drinking breast milk. Well, the actors and the writers came out to say how they feel like that show related to what's going on under the Trump regime. Take a look.
The God thing, where Homelander wants to be God, and then before the episode even airs, Trump puts out that photo of him as Jesus touching, and I was like, I think Kripke was like, come on, give us 2 days.
Trump sharing a meme of himself as Jesus, like healing somebody in a hospital, like a golden statue. It's so unsettling. It's so depressing.
The golden statue, Homelander believing that he's God, was pretty nuts. But I think the biggest one was the assassination, where that episode was about to come out, and we had to hold it a week because somebody had attempted an assassination on Donald Trump. And that was, I think, the most surreal of like, how is the timing of this happening?
I remember being the most shocked about it the first season because it was so unplanned. I mean, it was written like 2 years before it came out, so that was kind of like, wow, it was like a party trick. It was awesome culturally. It was cool to. Well, it wasn't cool culturally some of the stuff, but it was interesting that we were able to mirror what was going on and kind of show that through the superheroes and the conflicts there was really interesting. So
the Jesus thing was ridiculous. The golden statue. It just, we can go on forever.
They wrote these episodes almost 2 years ago. We shot them over a year ago. And I think the intention was to so overshoot reality in order to sort of like make a commentary on it. So the fact that it's so parallel is just really upsetting.
Art imitating life, or should we say life imitating art? Trump see this shit and he thinks he's supposed to do it in real life. Folks, this is just a sad microcosm of what's going on out there in real life. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've got 3 copyrighted scripts that I wrote that are superhero scripts, and a lot of it is based, I wrote these things like in 2021, not knowing that our society would be what it is now. I never was able to get the finances to get them made, but a lot of what we're seeing today was written in my scripts too. And anyone who's creative, anyone who's into politics, you saw this coming. So it doesn't surprise me that some of those writers saw this coming. You just didn't believe it would play out in the way it did. And a part of me wonders if Trump watches the show and was doing it on purpose. And it's pretty pathetic that the thespians who play the roles of those characters, I wish they would have had Anthony Starr, the guy that plays Homelander. I wish he would have been on that interview reel because I would love to hear what he had to say. But anytime life is imitating art, we're in a bad situation. This show is not a documentary. It's not something based on real truth. It's made up. And the stuff we're seeing coming out of our highest office folks is just a travesty. So post your comments, let me know what you think. Let me know if you've seen The Boys. It is a great show, by the way. And if you haven't, I highly recommend you see it. Even though it's got superheroes and superpowers, they do a good job of making it the drama in a way where you don't necessarily always know that it's superpowers. So post your comments, let me know what you think about that. Just saying. I get chastised sometimes because I want to hold Democrats accountable. And why do I want to hold Democrats accountable, ladies and gentlemen? Easy. A lot of the mess we're in with Trump, we wouldn't be here if Democrats would have done their damn jobs in the first place. Why didn't Democrats do their damn jobs? Number one, because they believe that the American people are smarter than what they are, especially in flyover and red states. They believe that. They're not. They bought into the bull jive narratives that have been put in place by Mighty Whitey, that folks believe in their religion, that folks love their country, and all that horse shit that the Republican folks do not believe in. We're seeing it with Trump. So we do now have a Democrat who came out and was doing things. I was all cheering for this woman, the governor of Virginia, Mrs. Spamberger. But now she's starting to look like those Democrats that I'm always complaining about, that we can't tell if you're bought by AIPAC and you serve the Republicans too, or are you serving the American people? Check out my boy, Josh the Progressive. He's a great follow on IG if you're not following him. Listen to the scoop he's got on Spamberger.
Disturbing news out of Virginia, and even if you're like me and don't live there, pay attention because this type of trickery happens from politicians all around the country. Remember a few months ago, everyone was so excited that a Democrat won the governor's seat in Virginia. Abigail Spamberger flipped the seat from red to blue. Well, guess what? She just vetoed legislation that would have banned ICE agents from making warrantless arrests in courthouses in the state of Virginia. In Virginia, Democrats hold all the power. They have all the cards. They have an opportunity to push for serious progressive policy. And doing something like this is the bare minimum. This is not progressive at all. And Spanberger vetoed this bill. I was warning people back in November that this would happen. Everyone was celebrating these wins along with New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani. But the reality is, just because other Democrats were saying similar things as Mamdani, like affordability, and were posting on social media in a style like Mamdani, they weren't democratic socialists. They weren't fighting for working people. This is a corporate establishment Democrat through and through, and unless we see otherwise soon, that's what it is.
Jeez, man. You know, on one hand, it's easy to say at least she's better than MAGA. But being better than MAGA, folks, is not the bar we're striving for. We're striving for the bar that completely is in the tank for supporting all working class people, that's supporting everybody else who needs help outside the 1%. And what she just did does not support that. It's also easy to say that in the national elections, there's not a lot Democrats can do in terms of, you know, preventing laws or stopping Trump, that type of thing, because Trump controls the White House, the House, the Senate, and the branch he's not supposed to control, the judiciary. But this is Governor Spanberger in Virginia. She has total control over the whole state, House and legislature in the state, and you're doing this bull jive? Come on, man. Why? Did one of these for-profit bought facilities that they're housing immigrants in, are you bought by them? Is this a kickback for them? Because I gotta believe that. Why else would you do this? Why else would, in a time where we're seeing injustice each and every day, in a time where we are seeing the most corrupt president each and every day, in a time where people who are Democrats need something to believe in, people to believe in, people who, even if you don't have the power, you can just stand up to power. Stand up to it. Say no. Don't engage with it, whether you have the control or not. And when you do this, you're not giving people who are Democrats, you're not giving them a lot to vote for. And at the end of the day, one of the worst things to happen to the American electorate is hopelessness. That's almost worse than voting Republican, because at the end of the day, there are more registered Democratic voters than there are Republican. But if they don't feel there's any hope for better, they're not showing up. And what will give them hope for better? Whether you can achieve what you need to achieve or not against Trump, stand up to power. And in this situation, Spanberger, you had the power to stop something and you didn't. The question I want to know is why. And if anybody watching this knows why, what's the real deal behind it? I always say follow the money. Post your comments. Let me know what you think about that. That's just, I almost feel like she's going down the road of Kevin, Federline? No, Federline was married to Britney Spears, Kevin Fetterman. And we don't need no more Democrats like that. Oh, man. Before we get to the main story, which is how Trump is killing the economy, let's talk about the other thing that's hurting the American electorate. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, religion. How is it hurting? Because Republicans are using religion to lower people's sensibility, to lower people's ability to critically think, and then on top of that, have people feel funny when their own party makes mistakes, and they instantly say, well, if God will forgive, we can forgive. But they can't forgive immigrants, can't forgive Black people. All those mighty whitey stereotypes that have been passed down from generation to generation, and the Fox News followers don't even know they succumb to the type of bias. Democrats need to address this. And one Christian who I think could probably do a good run at president, not because he's as progressive as I would like him to be, but because he eloquently can speak to how religion has no bearing in politics, nor should it be anywhere near MAGA. And folks, he looks good to a lot of women. James Tellerico, take a listen to what he had to say about religion and what's going on in America.
You know, in Scripture, Jesus befriended people that others called sinners. The only people in the Bible that Jesus condemned were religious leaders who used religion to hurt others. Being a Christian is about loving thy neighbor, not bullying LGBTQ people. Being a Christian is about loving thy neighbor, not chasing pregnant women across state lines. Being a Christian is about loving thy neighbor, not harassing librarians, silencing teachers, and defunding our schools. I refuse to let Christian nationalists twist a religion of love to justify their hate.
Folks, he's right. And it's not just Christian nationalism, it's any religion. We're supposed to be having the separation of church and state. But anytime it comes to these Christian nationalists that want to control women and black people and minorities and men too, to some degree, somehow or another they lose all thought process, all rationale on what's really happening in the Bible. And they want to associate themselves with Trump. And folks, let's just keep this thing real. The only parallel between Trump and Jesus is that they both spent a whole lot of time around prostitutes and had ghostwriters to do their stories and tell their jokes. That's it. Other than that, Jesus talks about how he's not that big a fan of the rich. Jesus talks about how we need to accept immigrants. Jesus talks about how we need to take care of our poor and sick. The policies of the Trump administration, forget my personal insults on everybody who's MAGA. Let's just stick to the policies. The policies of MAGA have killed this economy, and I'll get to that in the next segment, but they've eroded personal freedom for women. They've increased gas prices. They killed Obamacare as best they could to the point where a lot of people can't afford health care. And now they're trying to shift drugs to one corner of the market with Mark stupid ass Cuban and Trump, so that people are going to be forced to have to pay for things. And if you can't pay for those drugs, you're likely going to die. And I'm someone who's been in this situation as an asthmatic lifelong. Before Obamacare, my insurance premium, folks, before Obamacare, just to get Advair and albuterol and be able to afford going to the doctor, and this is in 2006, I was paying $390 a month. $390, because I was an independent contractor. How is that spurring innovation that you've got to pay that kind of bill? Now, this is another one they love to do. They love to run around and tell you how great capitalism is. But they don't like to tell you how the rich people set capitalism up in a way that favors them by using the socialized money from everybody in the country and our taxpaying dollars to set up their businesses. And if it goes belly up, oh, well, they didn't lose nothing. But then they'll tell you not to take that same money because you don't know what to do with it. Well, folks, I would tell you to tell people who say that, fuck you. You know why? Because they know, and it's a known fact, that we are a consumerist nation, meaning that all our money goes to consuming things. And if you give people money, they're going to fucking spend it. But that's what they don't want. They don't want you to have the option to go away from them because they need you on the fake ass free market capitalism slave ship. And one of the greatest ways to keep you on that ship and to keep you from wanting to use socialized money that they're already using is to have you have this fake belief in Christianity, which Tellerico and me call Christian nationalism. Post your comments. Let me know what you think about that. Now it's time for the main story of the day, folks, and that is how Trump has ruined this damn economy. Lord have mercy. I can recall a day when everybody used to say, you know, you need to have all these streams of revenue. And I used to roll my eyes to a degree because the type of people that would say it was like these con folks. You know, they was trying to sell you how they want you to get the stream of revenue, whether it was real estate, stocks, whatever. Well, what happens when you put the ultimate used car salesman, the ultimate appliance salesman, a man who has so many wares, you might as well say he's Lowe's selling appliances. You get Trump. You get the best economy for con men and people like that ever. And before we get into some of the numbers of what he's done, Let me show you a video from, I think, maybe 2000, where Trump basically told you him and rich dudes love a broken economy because that gives them the opportunity to swoop in, scoop up more resources, set whatever prices they want to set on it, and then us poor schmucks who are not in the 1%, we succumb to inflation, we succumb to the prices they put in place, or we've got to do more work to slave with these guys. Take a look at Trump.
Find that I do better in bad markets. I buy things in bad markets. And you can't do that in a great economy. You can't buy it. Either you're going to buy it very expensively or not be able to buy it at all. So there's a lot of opportunity I find in the bad times.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the rich and powerful love bad times. And dare I say they love manufacturing bad times. You know who is the main provocateur of manufacturing bad times? The Republican Party. Their number one go-to when all things are bad is we're going to go to war with somebody. And we have just enough idiots in this country that love hate more than food on their plate that they fall for the banana in the tailpipe every time. And that's kind of why we're where we're at right now. Not to mention Trump's tariffs, but this war is killing energy prices, food prices, more and more. Don't believe me. Listen to a smart, rich white guy, because I guess y'all take information better from a smart, rich white guy than a person who's been versed and has started 3 or 4 businesses, all made 6 figures, none made $1 million yet, and maybe had 1 or 2 business failures in me. Listen to the white guy and let me know what you think.
Donald Trump is in the midst of bankrupting the United States. I think this is really just a fairly, if you think about it, a fairly obvious data point in a consistent pattern across Trump and the way he deals with organizations. And it can be summarized in one word: bankruptcy. And bankruptcy is effectively you overestimate your strength and your ability to create value, and you spend or allocate resources against that expectation, that arrogance, that belief that you will create more value or have more leverage than you actually have. And then after expending these resources, you find that your value and your leverage do not justify the resources spent, and you have to declare bankruptcy. He has done this over and over and over. And when you are spending $250 billion on munitions and bombs that result in a weakening of your economic power, and you explode the deficit and then go back and ask for another $1.5 trillion, a $400 billion increase in the budget, simply put, Donald Trump is in the midst, or now the 5th or 6th inning, of bankrupting the United States.
Mm-hmm. And what do you always hear from Republicans that claim to be budget hawks? Oh, we got to stop the deficit. We can't pay for Social Security and Medicaid, these entitlement. And I always roll my eyes at that and want to start cussing. It's not an entitlement. People have paid into that. It's your grimy asses for spending the money that was there, politicians. They always want you to believe that they're the best for business. But when you drill down into the numbers, they are no better at the stock market than Democrats are. And oftentimes Democrats are better because they put rules and regulations in place that prevent Republicans from crippling things and then having to make things come back up. Hence COVID. Obama had things in place to prevent something like COVID. Trump took it away, economy sputtered, and then what happened? Now we're in this war. Now we've got these tariffs. Why do white people and black people too, black MAGAs, continue to believe that Republicans are better for business? Because those people, I contend with you, want to take the shortcut. They want to take the steroids in capitalism. And then they want to go tell you poor fools who have to go to them to revere them that capitalism is the greatest system in the world when they don't even tell you how the hell they've cheated. They don't tell you that. Just like these bodybuilders in the gym that look great. They'll tell you they all natural. I'm here to tell you, you can see that picture behind me, that's natural. And do I look like Ronnie fucking Coleman? No. Being big and lean is usually a sign of steroids. Folks who love to get in front of microphones the most and preach to you the most about how they bootstrapped and all that shit, they're not telling you the steroids they took to achieve their wealth. Now, let me show you what Trump has done to ruin the economy. And this is not me making stuff up. These are respected publications giving you their headlines. Take a look at this. Let's go here first. Trump economy. New York Times, despite Trump's claims, grocery prices are rising. So in other words, folks, they're basically telling you Trump lied when he said that they were dropping, okay? The Wall Street Journal, Americans are the ones paying for the tariffs. Study finds. He lied about that and said that businesses was going to pay for it. CNN, the U.S. economy lost 92,000 jobs in February, and the unemployment rate is up 4.4%. USA Today, employers announced most job cuts since 2009 as the economy wobbles. CNBC, gas prices passed $3.50 per gallon to the highest level since 2024 amid U.S.-Iran war. You want me to stop there? You want me to stop there? Because I can tell y'all, there are a lot of MAGA who watch this video and are saying, so what? At least they ain't got to worry about them gays. At least they ain't got to worry about black people like you getting the opportunity you work for. I don't care. I got 2 teeth and they both yellow. One of them going black and it hurt. And I ain't got no food on my plate, but I got this hate. Let me show you some more data. The U.S. lost 68,000 manufacturing jobs last year in the wake of Trump's tariffs. So you see where the graph starts right here. We take a little dip, we go up, and then, folks, what happened? We plummet. I mean, we went down the drain like Mario and Luigi did in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Flush us down the fucking drain. This is the result of flyover country moms who came out for Biden, then flipped back to Trump, voting because they did not want a black woman running the economy. Why would you not want one of the smartest people in this country, based on who has the most education, black women, not running the country? Kamala told you all this was going to happen. Kamala even had a plan to give $50,000 to people buying new homes because of what was going on with inflation. And it bothers me because I don't understand how, well, I guess I can't understand. There's too many uneducated people about the real way the world works. They're still stuck in their Bible-laden, propaganda man push stereotypes of the world and haven't broken out of the bubble. But how is it that you would rail against Kamala giving people 50 G's for down payment on a home, but you don't get mad at Amazon and Elon Musk getting $2 or $3 billion for businesses, and sometimes they fail. Oftentimes they fail. Make that make sense. You're okay with Trump getting $2 billion for a fucking ballroom that we don't need. Mind you, folks, why do we need that ballroom with some kind of a bunker built underneath? Is that going to be a place where they're going to be trafficking folks for the Epstein thing and nobody will know about it? Because I've never seen a fevered pitch by right-wing people to build anything unless it's by slaves, unless there's a nefarious purpose. Why is there such a fever pitch to get $2 billion for a ballroom? I don't think nothing good is coming from that. And then on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you are all okay with the idea of you love Jesus and you're okay with people making money off of grabbing legal citizens and putting them in a jail and getting lost. That's the Trump economy we're living in, folks. Post your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Last story we'll go to, folks, is basically kind of everything I'm complaining about. D.L. Hughley, one of my favorite comedians, one of the most conscious brothers in all the world, is basically talking about MAGA. What are you getting from Trump? And if I could talk to him, I would tell him what they're getting from Trump. They're getting hate. They love hate more than they love food on their plate. Sooner or later, I'm going to make that t-shirt. Sooner or later. And if you like the sound of that, leave me a comment and type in 7 or 1 or something and let me know if you would purchase one of those, if I can make it like $10 or $15. But that is the problem in America. There's people that love hate more than food on their plate. And D.L. Hughley asked the question to MAGA. Take a look.
A serious question, ladies and gentlemen. What part of $1 billion for a ballroom or millions of dollars spent on a reflecting pool, or a ill-fated war. Don't tell me that we have to stop them from getting a bomb. They haven't been able to get a bomb in the 50 years we've been trying to stop them from getting it. Every American president has been able to stop Iran from getting a bomb without the invasion we now have that has jacked up prices of food and goods and services. What good is a almost $2 billion windfall for the president to decide to dole out to his political people that he's fond of? What part of that helps you? Did you ever get your Doge check for $5,000? Did you ever get your tariff check? You did not. And I have no doubt that the people who Trump is saying that he'll use this for, the J6ers, that works out to about a million, a little over $1 million a person. Isn't it interesting how you can afford to pay people who broke the law, who broke this country or tried to break this country, but can't afford to pay the people who are descendants of people who built it? Donald Trump has not delivered on one significant thing. As a matter of fact, you can't even tell me the last time he talked about something Americans are concerned about. When's the last time he talked about the price of gas? All he'll tell you is when the war's over, it's over. And all he'll say is we have to stop them from getting a bomb. He doesn't care about the price of food. What would happen if somebody actually forwarded a bill or legislation to spend almost $2 billion on anything that's redemptive in this country? What if you spent it on healthcare? What if you spent it on schools? What if you spent it on food? They would never do it. They would never do it at all. And look at all these people, like all these black people who are so against reparations, but are saying nothing about the reparations that the J6ers are going to get. All Donald Trump ran on and having people be able to hate somebody. Except now that's too expensive because hate won't fill your gas tank or your belly. We are in a place right now where he's not even pretending to be concerned about the things that trouble the American society. He is ready to reward his friends. And if he can get $1.8 billion, almost $2 billion for people that have attacked the Capitol, he can't get you the Doge check that he promised you. He can't get you the tariff check he promised you. Donald Trump is, and I believe this for sure, he's going to keep that money because Donald Trump and the rich, the billionaires he consorts with are not interested in making America better. They're stripping this country down for the parts while you watch. That's a little note from the GED section. Got a jazz report coming up in 15 minutes. It's the D.L. Hughley Show.
Please go give my boy D.L. Hughley a follow. Let me rebuttal some of the things he was saying. No, Trump is not. Trump is known for not paying people. Remember, he promised ICE $50,000. You think any of those fat asses got their money? Y'all remember Dean Cain, fat ass, talking about he's going to sign up for ICE, and it looked like he was signing up to go get a scoop of ice cream. Nobody got their 50 G's. This is a slush fund, ladies and gentlemen. And I did a video, you can go through my videos, where I basically said what DL said when it first came off the pipe. You got $2 billion for lawbreakers, but you don't got $2 billion for builders of the country and descendants of black slaves. And what I believe this money represents is to sound the alarm for his minions to get ready to mount up for the midterms and go commit some crimes at state capitals, maybe even at DC again. Who's to stop him this time? Trump didn't stop him the last time. Why would he stop him this time if it looks like the Democrats are winning? That's what I think this is. Even though I don't think he'll pay them, it looks like he'll pay them for their bad behavior. And it's sickening because the Republican Party is supposed to be the party of law and order, right? Where's the law and order? Where's the outrage? They know good and damn well if Barack Obama would have peeled his shirt back, let us see the hairs on his chest, and said, you know what? Descendants of African-American slaves, I am going to get it where y'all don't pay no more taxes ever again. I believe we would have had Civil War #2 right there on the spot. They would have killed that nigga. They would have killed him right there on the spot. But when Trump, a con man, crooked white guy that most rich people never liked anyway, until he gets in office and does their bidding, he says this shit, and we're supposed to just write it off as it's nothing. But what's so disheartening, middle class and below rich MAGA go with it. They go with it because, like DL said, that I've been saying, and one of these days I'm gonna have to get on these One of these days, y'all might see my face on some of the bigger political folks because of the different things I'm into. I'm into real estate. I own some. I do stocks, and I'm do the political part because I've done business so long. Y'all might see me on their show giving you all my little statements. Those people love hate more than food on their plate. They would love to be in a house where it's them, some immigrants, and black people, and especially black women. And if they could set the house on fire and burn down everybody, including them, they would, just so that they can see you fall. And we need Democrats that have balls and that are not bought to step up to the plate and say, F you. We've seen how you believe and vote American people. We're not standing for it. We don't give a damn how you feel about the laws we create that help everybody. If you don't like the laws and policies we put in place that can help you, then just don't take it. But everybody else need the option of bettering their damn self. And that's another one that gets on my nerve. Whenever people do these polls for Democrats and you talk to them about why they're not expanding Medicaid, why they're not expanding Social Security, why we're not getting universal child care, they worry about what the centrists and poor dunk moderates and Republicans think. Fuck them. You've seen what they think. They gave you Trump again. A man who incited a riot on the Capitol, now he's about to pay them, not to mention he's let their asses out of jail, and most of them have gone back. These have always been the most ardent criminals, but they was able to deject the white American people from that by saying it's these black people over here. What was that term y'all used to use back in the day? Thought? That hole over there? Well, that's how they treated black people. Them thoughts over there. And now that all this stuff is coming to light, we're peeling away some people from that, but not at a fast enough clip because Thomas Massey just lost this week in Kentucky. So Democrats, when you get the power, you wield that bitch like it's Thor holding Mjolnir, or better yet, Stormbreaker, and put laws in place that leverage the playing field for middle class and poor to bring us up to the level of the 1%. And if the middle class, podunk white people don't want it, they ain't got to take nothing. I mean, let them fall to the wayside and keep doing meth and come out with teeth that look black and blue, like a black and blue checkerboard. Let them do it. But folks, that's going to do it for me. Post your comments. Let me know what you think. At the end of the day, a lot of what we're seeing with this backhanded stuff with Israel and Russia, folks, in my opinion, is because Israel and Russia has America by the balls with what they know in the Epstein files. And we'll do a whole nother video on that later. But let me know what you think. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Again, please come check me out. Every day I trade stocks. Win by losing in stocks. And there is a movie and TV show channel I do, and I'm getting ready to go do He-Man. You know, I am a He-Man fan. This glass that you see right here, I've had this glass since I was 5 years old, and I was born in 1980. And so I'm hoping that the movie is good. The critics are saying it's good, but I'll be the judge of that. And I'll be reporting on that and some other things I'm going to be doing in a couple of weeks. So just continue to share me. And anybody whose review you see that I put a short up for, their link is always in the description. We need to be uplifting progressive voices. That's why I post so many shorts each and every day, to not only uplift those voices, but also get my voice out there too. And I try to get some of those people on as guests. So please be sure to check the video description. Check out some of those creators. And until that next Sex is Hell video, folks, I'm out.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.